The prepositional a in Spanish is notoriously difficult for native English speakers. If you fail to use the a correctly, people might not understand what you're saying. Or if you fail to use it in a certain phrase, the phrase might not be comprehensible to a native Spanish speaker. So I'm going to go over all of the different ways you can use the prepositional a, and I'm going to give you a list of phrases that require this a and what they mean in context so that you can use them with native Spanish speakers and they can understand you with more accuracy. If you use all of the prepositional a rules that I'm giving you here today, it'll make your conversations much more fluent and you'll be able to speak with more accuracy. Whenever you can do this, people who speak Spanish will be more inclined to listen to what you're going to say and actually give you the time of day so that you can continue to grow your skills. If you would like to learn a list of the Spanish question words with the prepositional a, you can go ahead and check in my videos. I'll link it at the end because I have an entire video telling you about how to use Spanish question words to keep your conversations flowing. And in this, I talk about how the prepositional a can affect what these words mean. So I'll link to that at the end. And if you have any other questions regarding the prepositional a throughout the video, go ahead and drop me a comment. I'm a native English speaker and I speak Spanish to a very high level. So if you have any questions about how this is used, drop me a comment. I'll make you a video because I find that sometimes native English speakers can explain these difficult grammatical aspects of Spanish a little bit better than native speakers can. So how do we use the prepositional a and why is it so important in Spanish? Well, it's important for a couple of reasons. The first reason that you should use the prepositional a in Spanish is to indicate a motion or a location. Any verb that indicates motion, such as llegar, to arrive, or acercar, which means to get closer to something, any of these verbs in Spanish that show that you are moving, you're going to put the preposition a. If you don't, people aren't going to understand where you are going. That's not the only use of the prepositional a. We don't just use it for motion. We also have to use it for location. So for example, if you are walking and you fall, you have to use the prepositional a here to say where you are falling to. So I could say something like, se cayó al piso. And here I have to use the prepositional a to say that she fell onto the floor. If you leave off this prepositional a, it's not going to make very much sense to the person you're talking to. So the first rule is location or for motion. If only it were that easy and this were the only Spanish prepositional a rule, then everyone's life would be so much simpler as we are speaking Spanish every day. But unfortunately, as this is a second language for most of us, it's not that simple and there are a couple more rules. And to understand this next rule, you really have to understand what is an infinitive verb in Spanish. An infinitive verb in Spanish is all of the verbs that end with AR, ER, or IR. Here's a list of verbs in Spanish, and I want you to look at them very closely. All of these end with an R, and the last two letters are either AR, ER, or IR. These endings show us that the verb is not conjugated in Spanish, so it's called an infinitive verb. And if we were to translate all of these into English, we would have to say to in front of all of them. To walk, caminar, to eat, comer, to pretend, fingir. So all of these here have the AR, the ER, or the IR. Whenever you're using the infinitives like you see here, you have to put the prepositional a in front of it. And the reason why is because we're saying that somebody did something else. Let me give you an example of this because if you understand it in English, you'll start to see how these pieces play together. So I could say something like, she began to leave. So if you listen to this sentence and you look at it here, we say she began, this is what she did, but now we have another action that's an infinitive action, to leave. She began to leave. So we're going to say empezó a salir, to leave. She began to leave. Empezó a salir. So whenever we're having this prepositional a in front of a verb that's conjugated, really what that's doing is saying she started to do something or he came to do something. So it's very important if you want to say to and then a verb in Spanish that you have to put the prepositional a in front. You can also use the prepositional a to indicate how you are doing something, the manner or the method in which you are completing an action. And to do this, you have to put the prepositional a in front of a noun. Let's pretend that you are going on a hiking trip. You're going to go up to the top of the mountain and you're going to eat some food and have a good picnic with your family. And one of your friends comes up to you and says, "Hey, how are you going to the top of the mountain?" Here's a perfect example to understand the prepositional a in front of a noun in Spanish. Because you could say, if you're going to the top of the mountain, vamos a pie. Vamos a pie. And you hear that I put a in front of pie. And this means I'm going by foot. I'm going to walk up the mountain. We put the prepositional a in front of pie, which means foot, and this is going to indicate the manner in which we are going up the mountain. We're not driving in a car, we're going by foot. So that a is really telling us the manner in which we are doing this. And you can do this with multiple other examples as well. Let's suppose you want to tell your friend that you are going to his house, and he calls you on the phone to say, "Hey, where are you?" You could reply by saying, "Voy a llegar a tiempo." You're going to arrive in a timely manner. A tiempo. Tiempo means time. The a is indicating the manner in which you're going to arrive at his house. You're not going to arrive late. You're going to arrive on time. Manner is the next way that we use the prepositional a. There's a bunch of different phrases whose meaning change whenever you put the a in there, and I'm going to go over these at the end of the video. So if you have any confusion about how to use the prepositional a, stay watching until the end, because I'm going to give you an entire list of words and phrases that you can practice using the prepositional a with. You can also introduce objects or people with the personal a in Spanish. Sometimes the prepositional a is also called the personal a, and this is a very clever trick to help you remember that you use it to introduce people, because it's personal. People, personal. Makes perfect sense in my brain. So let me give you an example of this. If I am meeting someone new, and you have already known this person, I meet them, I shake their hands, and I'm introduced to them, and I say, ¿conoces a María? Do you know Maria? In this instance, I'm introducing this person into our discourse, and it's somebody that you already know. So I'm going to put a in front of Maria because I'm introducing who this person is. And you can also do this with objects as well. Let's pretend you're having some friends over at your house, and it is in the dead of winter and it is freezing outside, and your house maybe doesn't have the best insulation. So your friends come over, you're enjoying a nice meal, and one of your friends looks at the other and says, "Oh my gosh, I'm so cold." So you get up to walk away, and your friend says, "Hey, where are you going?" Well, there's a problem here, and you're going to solve this problem. So you need to introduce that solution into conversation. The solution is a blanket. So you could say, "Le voy a dar una cobija a Juan." You're introducing a solution here, and you're saying, I'm going to give this product to this person. So you have to put that a in front of it. So they become an indirect object. And you can also do this for direct objects, but the rule is a little bit different. I don't want you to get too confused or caught up about direct object, indirect object, because the more you practice Spanish, the easier these are going to become. So just keep in mind that whenever you're introducing an object or whenever you're introducing a person, you usually have to put the personal a in front of the object or the person that you're talking about in Spanish for it to make sense. So don't get too caught up on direct or indirect object. But if it's something you're interested in, I'm going to go over it in another video of mine. It's not my favorite way to teach Spanish, to focus so much on grammar, but it is very helpful if you're the type of person that needs these stiff grammar rules to help you learn. The last way that you use a in Spanish is to indicate time expressions. Now, let's look at an example because I am a very visual learner, so I'm going to put it right here. We're going to go over it and see what it means. I could say we are leaving at 4. How would you do this in Spanish if the a has to indicate the time? Salimos a las 4. A las 4. We have to put the a in front of the time expression. Otherwise, it's not going to make sense. But we can also use this not for indication of time like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, but we can also do it for the days of the week. Estamos a lunes. Lunes means Monday, and we have to put a in front of it. Estamos a lunes. This means that we're indicating the time. So we have to put that A in front of it because the A is also used to indicate time. So far we've had 4 ways that we can use this A in Spanish, and let's go ahead and review them. The first reason we use A is to indicate location and motion, so where something is or how we are going to get somewhere. The next reason we use it is before an infinitive verb. All of the verbs that end with AR, ER, or IR, if we want to say that we are to do something in Spanish, we always have to put the A there. We also use it to indicate manner or method. So if we are going to do something a certain way, a lot of times we have to put that A in front of the way that we are doing it. And the last way we have to do it is when we are going to introduce an object or a person into our conversation. We have to put the A in front of the person or in front of the object. So these are the 4 ways that we do it. There are probably 40 other ways that you can use this personal A in Spanish, and I don't want to go over each one of them because I know you're probably not going to watch the 40-minute video. If you have any questions about any of the other personal A's, go ahead and drop them below, and I'll see if I can make some explanations for you to help you understand them a little bit more. And if you want an entire and exhaustive list of how to use all of these A's in Spanish, go ahead and click the link in my description and download them. I made an entire list for you so you can understand how to use them and you can practice with them as well. So go ahead and grab that. If you're having issues with the personal A in Spanish, you're going to learn a lot of new phrases that you can immediately use to talk to more people, and I know that it will be very helpful for you on your Spanish learning journey. If you are interested in learning Spanish very quickly and to a very high level in just 90 days, go ahead and click on the link in my description and check out my Speak Spanish in 90 Days challenge, where I'll put you face to face with native speakers from day one so that you are immediately using everything that you need to have a conversation with people. If you have any other questions about the personal A or the prepositional A, whatever you decide to call it, let me know in the comments below. And if you have any interesting stories about using these, I would love to hear them. I think that learning through stories is extremely interesting, and I would love to hear about some of the stories and experiences that you have had learning Spanish and any of the tips or tricks that you as a native speaker have developed to help you understand this language a little better. Because I know sometimes Spanish speakers, they have this intuition, but it's a little bit difficult for them to explain things. If you like the video, go ahead and subscribe to the channel because I'm making so many of these to try and help you guys become more fluent Spanish speakers. I love helping people learn Spanish because when I began speaking Spanish, my aunt told me I would never learn. I don't want you to have that feeling. I want you to know that you're capable, and that's the point of my videos. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you next time.